The explosion ripped through the scout ship with no warning. Lieutenant Abigail Mercer grabbed the wall to stay on her feet. Red lights flashed. Alarms screamed. The ship was dying. "Abandon ship. All personnel to escape pods," the computer voice announced. Abby ran through the smoke-filled corridor. The mission was supposed to be easy. Fly to planet Vex 9, check if anyone lived there, report back. No one told her about aliens with weapons that could cut through military ships like paper. She reached the last working escape pod and jumped inside. The door sealed with a hiss. Seconds later, the pod shot away from the dying ship. Through the small window, Abby watched her ship break apart. Pieces scattered across the purple sky of Vex 9. She had no time to mourn. The pod systems were failing too. Warning: engine failure, guidance failure. Prepare for crash landing. The pod spun wildly. Abby caught glimpses of the planet below. Tall towers made of crystal reached toward the sky. They glowed with inner light. Between them, she thought she saw thin figures moving. Not uninhabited after all, she whispered as the ground rushed up to meet her. The impact knocked her out. Abby woke to something cool touching her forehead. Years of military training kept her eyes closed. She kept her breathing steady. The air smelled strange, like metal and sweet flowers mixed together. Her body felt wrong, lighter somehow. She opened her eyes just a tiny bit. What she saw made her want to gasp, but she held it in. A creature stood over her. It was tall and thin with skin that shimmered like a soap bubble in sunlight. It had 4 eyes. All of them focused on Abby's wounds. The creature's hands had 6 fingers each. They moved with care as they spread glowing gel on Abby's burns. Most strange of all was the thing on the creature's head. It looked like a crown made of the same crystal as the towers outside. This was not just any alien. This was someone important. The alien princess made a soft humming sound as she worked. She kept looking at the doorway, as if afraid someone would come in. She was hiding something. She was hiding Abby. Why would an alien princess heal a human in secret? Why not kill the enemy who crashed on her world? None of it made sense. The princess turned away to get more healing gel. Abby took the chance to look around. She lay on a bed that seemed to grow out of the crystal floor. The room was small but beautiful. Balls of light floated near the ceiling. The walls sparkled with tiny lights. On a shelf across the room, Abby saw something that made her heart beat faster. Human things, books, a watch, even what looked like parts of a human spacesuit. The princess had studied humans before. The door to the room slid open. The princess moved fast, standing in front of Abby to hide her from view. Another alien stood in the doorway. This one wore armor that gleamed like metal but moved like cloth. They spoke in a language that sounded like wind chimes and rushing water. Abby couldn't understand the words, but she could feel the tension. The soldier was suspicious. The princess was nervous. After what felt like forever, the soldier left. The princess closed the door and turned back to Abby. For the first time, all 4 of her eyes looked directly at Abby's face. "You are awake," she said. Abby was shocked. "You speak English?" "I have studied your kind for many years." The princess's voice was musical, like several people singing at once. "I am Zelia, Lieutenant Abigail Mercer. My friends call me Abby." She tried to sit up, but pain shot through her body. "Do not move," Zelia said. "Your wounds are severe. The burning in your ship damaged much of your outer layer." "My skin," Abby corrected. "Yes, your skin." Zelia picked up a container of the glowing gel. "This will help you heal faster, but it will take time." "Why are you helping me?" Abby asked. "Your people shot down my ship." Zelia's upper eyes narrowed, while her lower ones stayed fixed on Abby. It was hard to read her expression with 4 eyes showing different emotions. "Not my choice," she said. "My father, the sovereign, fears all outsiders. He believes they only bring destruction." "And you don't?" Zelia was quiet for a moment. "I believe in learning before judging. I believe some outsiders bring understanding instead of harm." A loud noise came from somewhere outside. Zelia moved to the window. The crystal wall became clear. like glass. Outside, ships flew around the crystal towers. Some were Vexari ships, shaped like teardrops. Others were human ships. "Your people search for you," Zelia said. "They will not find you here. This room is hidden beneath my private chambers. The sensors cannot see through our crystal." Abby tried to make sense of it all. "How long have I been here?" 3 cycles of our twin suns," Zelia answered. "About 7 of your Earth days. 7 days. By now the fleet would be getting ready for war. They would think the Vexari had killed her. They would want revenge." "I need to contact my people," Abby said. "Tell them I'm alive. Stop them before they attack your world." Zelia turned all 4 eyes to Abby again. "Is that what you want? To save my people from yours?" "I want to save both our peoples," Abby said. "War helps no one." For the first time, Zelia's face made an expression Abby understood perfectly. A smile. "Then we have much in common, Abigail Mercer." She sat beside the bed. "Rest now. When you are stronger, we will talk more. I have many questions about your world." "And I have about 1,000,000 questions about yours," Abby said, feeling sleep pull at her again. The healing gel was making her tired. As she drifted off, Abby wondered what would happen when Zelia's father found out his daughter was hiding a human. She wondered what would happen when her fleet realized the Vexari had crystal technology unlike anything humans had ever seen. Most of all, she wondered why it felt so right to trust this 4-eyed alien princess, when everything in her training said she should be trying to escape. In her dreams, Abby saw the crystal towers reaching toward the stars. She saw human ships and Vexari ships firing at each other, and she saw Zelia standing between the 2 sides trying to stop a war that seemed impossible to prevent. 3 more days passed before Abby could walk again. The healing gel worked wonders on her burns. Her skin, once red and blistered, now looked almost normal. Only a few scars remained to show where the worst burns had been. Zelia visited many times each day. She brought food that tasted strange but gave Abby strength. She brought clothes made of a light material that felt like silk but was stronger than steel. And she brought stories about her world. "The crystal towers are alive," Zelia explained as she helped Abby walk around the small room. "They have grown here for millions of years. My people learned to live with them, not on them. We are partners." "They're alive?" Abby touched the wall. She felt a slight vibration like a heartbeat. "That's amazing. The crystals give us energy, shelter, and medicine." Zelia pointed to the healing gel. "In return, we protect them from the harsh rays of our suns. Our shield technology blocks the radiation that would harm them." Abby thought about why her fleet had really come to Vex 9. Not just to explore. They wanted the crystals. If they knew the crystals were alive, would that change their plans? She wasn't sure. "Your collection of human things," Abby said, pointing to the shelf. "Where did you get them?" Zelia's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Human ships have passed near our world before. Some crashed on our moons. I collected things when no one was watching." "You've been interested in humans for a long time." "Yes. Most Vexari see outsiders as a threat. I see them as a chance to learn." Zelia picked up a human book from her shelf. "Your stories are so different from ours, so full of emotion." Abby smiled. "You should see our movies." "Movies." All 4 of Zelia's eyes widened with interest. Before Abby could explain, voices came from outside the hidden room. Zelia quickly put down the book and motioned for Abby to be quiet. Through the wall, which had become transparent again, Abby could see 2 Vexari in Zelia's main chamber. One was a guard, like the one Abby had seen before. The other wore clothes similar to Zelia's, with a smaller crown-like crystal on his head. His skin was darker than Zelia's, with blue patterns running across it. "That's my brother, Prince Calic," Zelia whispered. "He suspects I'm hiding something. He has never trusted my interest in other worlds." Abby listened as Zelia's brother spoke. She couldn't understand the words, but his tone was angry. He moved around the room, looking behind things, as if searching for something or someone. "He says father wants to see me," Zelia translated quietly. "The human fleet has moved closer. They're demanding to know what happened to their scout ship. Father is preparing for war. Galactic came close to the hidden door. He put his hand on the wall and narrowed all four eyes. For a terrible moment, Abby thought he would find the secret entrance. Then a loud alarm sounded throughout the crystal tower. Galactic said something urgent to Zelia. She answered calmly. He grabbed her arm, but she pulled away. After a tense moment, he left, taking the guard with him. Zelia waited until they were gone before speaking. The alarm is a call to the War Council. My father expects all royal family members to attend. She looked worried. I must go, or they will become more suspicious. What will happen at this council? Abby asked. They will plan how to destroy the human fleet. Zelia's voice was sad. Unless I can convince them to try peace first. Let me come with you, Abby suggested. I can tell them I mean no harm, that humans want peace too. Zelia shook her head. My father would execute you on sight, and me for hiding you. She touched Abby's hand. I must gain his trust before I can suggest meeting with humans. It will take time. Time we may not have, Abby said. My fleet thinks I'm dead. They won't wait forever before attacking. I know. Zelia walked to a small crystal on the wall and touched it. A hidden drawer opened, revealing a device that looked like a mix between a tablet and a piece of crystal. This can receive transmissions from your fleet. It cannot send messages, but it will help us know what they're planning. Abby took the device. You've really thought of everything. Not everything. Zelia's face showed worry. The servants whisper. About me. The guards watch me with suspicion. And Galactic? She stopped. My brother has always wanted the throne. He would use any excuse to show father I am unfit to rule. Like hiding an enemy soldier? Exactly. Zelia adjusted her crown. I must go. The food unit will provide what you need. Just think of what you want to eat, and it will appear. I've programmed it to make human food too. As Zelia turned to leave, Abby caught her hand. Why are you doing this? Risking everything to help me? Zelia was quiet for a moment. All four eyes looked at different parts of Abby's face as if memorizing it. Because I believe our peoples can live in peace, she finally said. Because I've watched humans from afar and seen that, like Vexari, you can be kind or cruel, peaceful or violent. The choice is yours just as it is ours. With that, she left through the hidden door, which sealed so perfectly behind her that Abby could not see where it had been. Alone, Abby explored the room more carefully. The shelf of human objects held books, small toys, part of a spacesuit, and several pieces of technology. Most interesting was a notebook filled with Zelia's writing. Though Abby couldn't read the Vexari language, the princess had drawn detailed pictures of humans, earth animals, and human buildings. The device Zelia gave her showed the positions of the human fleet. They had formed a battle line just outside. The range of Vexari weapons. Soon they would attack or the Vexari would strike first. Either way, people would die. Hours passed. Abby tried the food unit and was surprised when it created a perfect hamburger, just by her thinking about it. She wondered how Zelia knew so much about human food. Night fell. The 3 moons of Vex 9 shone through the crystal walls, filling the room with silver light. Abby was about to sleep when the hidden door slid open. Zelia rushed in. Her clothes were torn. A cut on her face leaked a glowing blue liquid. Vexari blood. What happened? Abby jumped up to help her. The council meeting went badly, Zelia said, her voice shaking. Father has ordered the planet killer weapon prepared. He will destroy your entire fleet. Planet killer? A weapon that can destroy a world? Zelia sat heavily on the bed. It uses the power of the crystals. Only the royal family can activate it. Why would he use something so powerful against a few ships? Because he fears what comes after those ships. Zelia looked at Abby with all 4 eyes. He believes humans will never stop coming. That you will take our world, our crystals, everything. Abby couldn't argue. That was exactly what the fleet planned to do if the crystals proved valuable enough. I spoke against the weapon, Zelia continued. I said we should try to communicate first. Calic called me a traitor. She touched the cut on her face. We fought, physically. That has never happened before. I'm sorry, Abby said. This is all because of me. No. Zelia straightened. This conflict was coming with or without you. But now, with you here, we have a chance to stop it. She took a deep breath. There is something I must show you. Something only the royal family knows about. What is it? A truth that could change everything. Celia stood and pressed her hand to a part of the wall Abby had never noticed before. We must go to the heart of the oldest crystal tower. Tonight, while everyone prepares for war. Won't they look for you? Yes. Which is why we must hurry. Zelia handed Abby a cloak that shimmered and changed colors. This will help hide you from the guards. It bends light around the wearer. Abby put on the cloak. Where her body should have been, she now saw only a slight distortion in the air. Impressive technology. Not technology. Biology. Zelia smiled slightly. The cloak is alive, like our towers. The hidden door opened to reveal a narrow passage that spiraled down into darkness. Zelia created light by touching the wall. The crystal glowed softly, lighting their way. Stay close, the princess whispered. And no matter what happens, do not make a sound. They descended into the heart of the Crystal City, where secrets waited that would change both their worlds forever. The secret passage twisted down through the crystal tower. Abby stayed close behind Zelia, careful not to make any noise. Twice they had to hide as guards passed by, their heavy boots echoing on the crystal floors. Where exactly are we going? Abby whispered when it seemed safe. To the Oracle Crystal, Zelia replied softly. It is our most sacred treasure. Only the royal family and the Elder Council know of its existence. What does it do? It shows possible futures. Zelia paused at a junction where 3 passages met. She touched a pattern on the wall, and one path lit up. For 10 generations, it has shown the same vision over and over. They continued down the glowing path. The air grew warmer. The walls pulsed with stronger light. Abby felt as if they were walking into the heart of a living thing. What vision? She asked. Zelia stopped and turned to face her. All 4 eyes glowed in the dim light of the passage. A human and a Vexari princess standing together before the oracle. In some versions of the vision, they touch the crystal together and both our species live in peace. In others, they fail, and both worlds burn. Abby felt a chill despite the warm air. And you think we're those 2? Why us? Because of this. Zelia gently took Abby's right hand and turned it over, revealing a crescent-shaped birthmark on her wrist. The mark of the oracle. I have one too. She showed her own wrist, where a similar mark glowed with inner light. It's just a birthmark, Abby said, though she felt uncertain. Is it? Zelia's upper eyes blinked. Did you ever wonder why you were chosen for the mission to Vex 9? Why, out of all human pilots, you were sent to our world? The question hit Abby hard. She had wondered that very thing. She was a good pilot, but not the best. There was no clear reason why she had been selected. Someone wanted you here, Zelia said. Someone who knew about the prophecy. Before Abby could ask who that might be, a sound came from ahead. Voices. Arguing. Zelia pulled Abby into a small alcove. Through the cloak's camouflage, Abby could see Prince Calic and 3 guards approaching. They were looking for something, or someone. She can't have gone far, Calic said in the Vexari language. Thanks to Zelia's lessons, Abby could now understand simple phrases. Find her before she ruins everything. The guards spread out, checking each passage. One came straight toward their hiding place. Zelia pressed her hand against the wall. A section slid open, revealing another hidden passage. They slipped through just as the guard reached their alcove. The wall closed silently behind them. This new passage was rougher, as if rarely used. They hurried forward in darkness until Zelia touched the wall again, creating light. That was close, Abby whispered. Too close. Zelia looked worried. Calic must have followed me from my chambers. He suspects what I'm doing. Which is what exactly? Abby asked. I still don't understand why you're risking everything for me. Zelia was quiet for a moment. When I was young, I found a human book among crashed ship parts. It told stories of Earth, of humans working together despite their differences, of peace earned through understanding, not fear. She touched her birthmark. That same night, the Oracle gave me my first vision. I saw you, though I didn't know it was you then. I saw hope. They reached the end of the passage. A massive door stood before them, made entirely of crystal. Symbols were carved into its surface. The Chamber of the Oracle, Zelia said. She placed her hand on a specific symbol. The door began to glow, then slowly swung open. The chamber beyond was enormous. The ceiling stretched up so high that Abby could not see it. The walls curved in a perfect circle. And in the center stood a single crystal, taller than 10 humans stacked on top of each other. Unlike the other crystals Abby had seen, this one was perfectly clear. Within its facets, images moved and shifted. Stars being born, planets forming, civilizations rising and falling. The Oracle Crystal, Zelia said with reverence. It has guided our people since we first learned to speak with the towers. As they approached, the images in the crystal changed. Abby saw Earth, saw human ships in space. She saw the Vexari world, with its beautiful crystal towers. Then she saw destruction, human ships firing on the towers crumbling. A wave of energy spreading outward, destroying everything in its path. Is that what will happen? Abby asked, horrified. One possible future, said a new voice. Abby spun around. An elderly Vexari stood near the entrance to the chamber. Her skin was pale, almost transparent. All 4 of her eyes were cloudy with age. Elder Vin. Zelia bowed deeply. I didn't know you were here. Few know I still live, the elder said, her voice like dry leaves rustling. I have waited many cycles for this moment. She turned her cloudy eyes to Abby. So you are the human from the prophecy, the soldier with the mark. Abby felt exposed even with the cloak. I'm just a pilot who crashed. Elder Vin made a sound that might have been laughter. There are no accidents in the pattern of fate, human. Your coming was written in the Oracle, long before you were born. She moved closer to the crystal. Despite her age, she moved with surprising grace. The human fleet approaches with weapons ready, she said. Your people believe they come to save you, Lieutenant Abigail Mercer. They do not know they march toward destruction. How do you know my name? Abby asked. The elder smiled. The Oracle knows all that was and all that might be. She pointed a long, thin finger at the crystal. Look again. The images shifted once more. Now Abby saw herself and Zelia standing exactly where they were now, with Elder Vin beside them. Then the vision showed a great light spreading from the crystal, not destroying but connecting. Humans and Vexari together, building new cities where the towers and human structures grew side by side. That's what could happen instead, Abby asked. If you choose it, Elder Vin said. If both your peoples choose it. How? The fleet is ready to attack. The Sovereign has ordered the planet killer prepared. The crystal can send a message, Zelia explained. It can reach every human ship at once, show them the truth. What truth? That the crystal towers are alive, Elder Vin said. That destroying them would be genocide. That your people and ours can share knowledge instead of weapons. Abby understood now. You want me to help send this message? Yes, Zelia said. But it requires life energy, a sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Abby asked, though she already knew the answer from the way Zelia's eyes had dimmed. The one who sends the message must give part of their life force to the Oracle. Elder Vin explained. They will live, but they will never be the same. I'll do it, Zelia said firmly. No, Abby stepped forward. It should be me. My people are the ones who need to understand. It must be both of you. Elder Vin said. Human and Vexari, joined in purpose. Only together can you create a bridge between worlds. A loud crash came from outside the chamber. Voices shouted. Boots stomped on crystal floors. Calic has found us, Zelia said. We have no time. Elder Vin moved with sudden speed to a small crystal pedestal. Place your hands here, both of you. Focus on what you wish all to know. The oracle will do the rest. Abby and Zelia stood on opposite sides of the pedestal. Their eyes met, Abby's 2 eyes looking into Zelia's 4. Are you sure about this? Abby asked. You're risking everything. Some things are worth the risk, Zelia replied. She held out her hands. Abby took a deep breath and placed her hands on the pedestal, fingers intertwined with Zelia's. The moment their skin touched, energy flowed between them. Abby felt Zelia's thoughts, her hopes, her fears. She saw Zelia's memories, a lonely child fascinated by the stars, a princess who wanted more for her people than endless isolation. The oracle crystal began to glow brighter. The images within it moved faster, blurring together. The chamber door burst open. Prince Calic stood there, flanked by royal guards, his face twisted with rage. Treason, he hissed. Consorting with the enemy, accessing the sacred oracle without permission. You've doomed us all, sister. But it was too late to stop what had begun. The light from the oracle grew until it filled the entire chamber. Abby felt energy pouring out of her, mixing with Zelia's life force, flowing into the crystal network that connected all towers. In that moment, as her consciousness expanded beyond her body, Abby understood what the oracle had been trying to show them. Not just 2 possible futures, but the truth that the future is never fixed. It is made, choice by choice, moment by moment, by those brave enough to reach across the divide. The last thing she saw before the light became too bright was Elder Vin smiling, as if everything was happening exactly as she had foreseen. The light faded slowly. Abby felt weak, as if she had run for miles without stopping. Beside her, Zelia swayed on her feet. They were still holding hands across the crystal pedestal. Prince Calic and his guards stood frozen at the entrance, unable to move while the oracle's power flowed through the chamber. Now they rushed forward. What have you done? Calic demanded, grabbing Zelia's arm and pulling her away from Abby. What message did you send? The truth, Zelia said, her voice tired but firm. I showed the humans what the crystal towers really are, living beings that we share this world with. You've exposed our greatest secret. Calic turned to his guards. Take them both to the throne room. The sovereign will decide their punishment. 2 guards grabbed Abby, removing her cloak. 2 more held Zelia. Elder Vin stood to the side, watching with calm eyes. The path unfolds as it must, she said softly. Take us to the sovereign. Calic looked at the elder with surprise. Elder Vin, we thought you were dead. Many things are not as they seem, Prince Calic. The old Vexari moved toward the door with surprising speed. Come, your father should hear what has happened from all of us. They were led through the Crystal City's main passages, no longer hiding in secret tunnels. Vexari citizens stopped to stare at the strange group, the princess and prince, the ancient elder everyone thought dead, and most shocking of all, a human walking freely in their city. News spread quickly. By the time they reached the central tower where the sovereign ruled, crowds had gathered. Some looked afraid. Others seemed curious. A few showed open hostility. The throne room was a massive chamber with walls that curved up to form a dome. The floor was polished crystal that reflected everything like a perfect mirror. At the center, on a raised platform, sat the sovereign's throne, a living crystal formation that changed shape slightly as they watched. The sovereign himself was taller than Zelia or Calic, with skin that had turned deep blue with age. The crystal crown on his head was larger and more complex than his children's. All 8 of his fingers, Vexari gained extra fingers with age and status, tapped impatiently on the arms of his throne. What is the meaning of this? He demanded as they entered. His voice echoed throughout the chamber. A human in the royal palace? My daughter and son at odds, and his voice faltered as he saw Elder Vin, the Oracle Keeper, alive after all these years. Greetings, old friend, Elder Vin said. I return when I am needed most. Father, Calix stepped forward. Zelia has committed treason. She hid this human in her chambers. She accessed the Oracle without permission. And worst of all, she sent a message to the human fleet revealing our sacred crystal knowledge. The Sovereign's eyes narrowed. All four focused on Zelia. Is this true, daughter? Zelia stood straight despite her exhaustion. Yes, father, but not for the reasons Calix suggests. I did not betray our people. I acted to save them. By helping our enemy. The Sovereign pointed at Abby. Lieutenant Mercer is not our enemy, Zelia said. She wants peace between our worlds just as I do. Abby stepped forward despite the guards trying to hold her back. Your Majesty, I meant no harm by coming to your world. My mission was to explore, not to attack. Lies, Calix hissed. The human fleet surrounds our world with weapons ready. Because they think you killed me, Abby explained. If they know I'm alive, if they understand the truth about the Crystal Towers, they might choose peace. The Sovereign raised a hand for silence. The entire room grew still. You sent a message through the Oracle, he said to Zelia. What was in this message exactly? Before Zelia could answer, a Vexari officer burst into the throne room. Sovereign, the human fleet, it's changing position. Their weapons are powering down. They're sending a transmission on all channels. Put it through, the Sovereign ordered. A section of the crystal wall changed, becoming a screen. On it appeared the face of Admiral Carla Winters, commander of the human fleet. This is Admiral Winters of the Earth Alliance, she said. We are receiving unusual transmissions from the planet's surface. Images and feelings. She looked confused. We see the crystal structures are alive. We see Lieutenant Mercer is alive. We request direct communication with Vexari leadership. The throne room erupted in shocked whispers. The Oracle's message had worked. It seems, the Sovereign said slowly, that my daughter's actions have had unexpected results. He rose from his throne. Open a channel to the human admiral. The officer worked quickly. Soon the connection was two-way. I am the Sovereign of the Vexari, he announced. Your Lieutenant Mercer is here, unharmed. He gestured for Abby to step forward where the Admiral could see her. Admiral Winters, Abby said, what you've seen is true. The Crystal Towers are living beings. The Vexari live in harmony with them. Destroying them would be wrong. Admiral, Winters nodded. The images we received were convincing. We had no idea the crystals were sentient. She paused. Our mission parameters have changed. We now seek peaceful contact if you are willing. The Sovereign was quiet for a long moment. His 8 fingers tapped the air as if weighing invisible options. Your weapons first, he finally said. Power down all offensive systems. Then we may talk. Agreed. Admiral Winters gave orders off-screen. Our weapons are powering down now. You can verify this with your sensors. Another officer entered and whispered to the Sovereign. He nodded. It seems you speak the truth, Admiral. Perhaps there is hope for understanding between our peoples after all. He turned to Zelia. My daughter believed this was possible when I did not. Her wisdom surpasses my own. Calix stepped forward. Father, you cannot trust the humans so easily. This could be a trick. Is it a trick, Lieutenant Mercer? The Sovereign asked. Abby met his 4 eyes without flinching. No, Your Majesty. My people came seeking resources, it's true. But now that we understand the Crystal Towers are alive, we'll find another way. One that benefits both our worlds. The Sovereign nodded slowly. We shall see. He returned his attention to the screen. Admiral Winters, I invite you to send a small delegation to our world. We will meet and discuss terms for peaceful relations. We accept, the Admiral replied. We'll prepare a shuttle immediately. After the transmission ended, the Sovereign turned to face everyone in the throne room. The Oracle has guided us to this moment, he said. For generations we have hidden from the galaxy, fearing what contact with others might bring. Perhaps that fear has held us back. He stepped down from his throne platform. Zelia, you will lead the delegation that meets with the humans. Your understanding of their ways will be valuable. Zelia bowed. Thank you, Father. And you, he said to Abby. You will return to your people and speak for us. Explain what you have learned about the Vexari. I'd be honored, Abby said. Kalik moved forward suddenly. This is madness. The human cannot be trusted. None of them can. That's enough, Kalik, the sovereign said firmly. But Kalik wasn't finished. In a swift motion, he drew a crystal blade from his belt. If you won't protect our world, I will. He lunged at Abby. Zelia moved faster than anyone expected. She threw herself between Kalik and Abby. The blade cut across her arm, drawing bright, blue blood. The guards grabbed Kalik immediately, forcing him to drop the blade. He struggled against them, shouting about betrayal and weakness. The sovereign's face darkened with anger. Take my son to the reflection chambers. Perhaps time alone with his thoughts will clear his mind. As Kalik was dragged away, still shouting, Zelia turned to Abby. Are you hurt? I'm fine, Abby said, but you're not. She tore a piece of fabric from her sleeve and wrapped it around Zelia's wounded arm. A small price to pay for peace, Zelia said with a weak smile. The human cares for you, the sovereign observed, watching them closely. And you for her. The oracle chose well. Elder Vin, who had been silent during the whole exchange, stepped forward. The prophecy unfolds, but it is not complete. The bridge between worlds has begun, but it must be strengthened. What do you mean? Abby asked. The message we sent showed truth, but truth alone is not enough to maintain peace. Elder, Vin explained. We need a permanent connection, a way for humans and Vexari to truly understand each other. The sovereign looked thoughtful. The sharing crystals, perhaps? They have been used between Vexari for generations to create understanding. Yes. Elder Vin nodded. But modified for human biology. It would be dangerous, but possible. What are sharing crystals? Abby asked. They allow the sharing of thoughts, feelings, memories, Zelia explained. Complete understanding between two minds, but they have never been used with non-Vexari before. Would it be safe? Abby asked. Not entirely, Elder Vin admitted. But the Oracle has shown it can work. With the right two minds. She looked meaningfully at Abby and Zelia. The throne room had emptied of most guards and officials. The human delegation would arrive soon. Decisions had to be made quickly. If it helps create lasting peace, I'll do it, Abby said. As will I. Zelia agreed. The sovereign studied them both. The future of both our peoples may rest on this moment, are you certain? They answered as one. Yes. Elder Vin smiled. Then come. We must prepare. The human delegation will arrive soon and there is much to do. As they left the throne room, Abby felt something strange on her wrist. Looking down, she saw her birthmark was glowing slightly, just like Zelia's. Something was happening between them, something neither. The human delegation arrived 2 hours later. Their shuttle landed on a crystal platform that extended from the main tower like a giant hand reaching toward the sky. Admiral Winters led the group, along with 3 diplomats and 2 guards. They looked nervous but determined as they stepped onto Vexari ground. Abby waited with Zelia, Elder Vin, and the Sovereign to greet them. She had changed into a clean uniform provided by the Vexari, modified to fit human proportions. The crystal communicator from Zelia's room was attached to her wrist, translating everything. Lieutenant Mercer, Admiral Winters said as she approached, "It's good to see you alive. Your escape pod's beacon went silent after the crash." "The Vexari found me, Admiral," Abby explained. "Princess Zelia saved my life and kept me safe." She gestured to Zelia, who stepped forward with a formal bow. "Welcome to our world, Admiral Winters," Zelia said. "We have much to discuss." The Admiral seemed surprised to hear perfect English from the alien princess. "You speak our language?" "I have studied humans for many years," Zelia explained. I believe understanding begins with communication. The Admiral nodded. I agree. She turned to the Sovereign. The images we received through your crystal network were extraordinary. We had no idea the crystal formations were alive. Few outsiders do, the Sovereign replied through a translator. We have kept our symbiotic relationship with the crystal beings secret for generations. We feared others would seek to exploit them. A fear that wasn't unfounded, Admiral Winters admitted. Our original mission included assessing the crystals for potential mining. Abby appreciated the Admiral's honesty. It was the only way to build real trust. The meeting moved inside to a grand council chamber where both delegations could sit comfortably. For hours, they discussed possibilities for cooperation instead of conflict. The humans offered technology and connection to the wider galaxy. The Vexari offered knowledge about the crystal beings and their unique properties. Throughout the talks, Abby noticed Zelia growing paler. The wound on her arm had been treated, but something else seemed wrong. When there was a break in the meeting, Abby pulled her aside. Are you okay? She asked quietly. The energy I gave to the Oracle, Zelia explained. It takes time to recover. She glanced at Elder Vin, who was watching them with knowing eyes. There's something else we must do before the final agreements are signed. Something that will ensure lasting peace. The sharing crystals, Abby remembered. Yes. Zelia lowered her voice further. Elder Vin has prepared everything. Once the delegations retire for the evening, we must go to the chamber beneath the Oracle. Is it dangerous? Yes. Zelia didn't sugarcoat it. No human has ever connected with a sharing crystal. Your mind could be damaged, so could mine. But you still want to do it. I believe it's necessary. All four of Zelia's eyes looked deeply into Abby's. The Oracle showed us that true understanding between our peoples depends on this connection. But I won't force you. Abby thought about it. The risk was real, but so was the opportunity. I'll do it. The meetings concluded for the day. Both sides seemed optimistic about a peaceful agreement. The human delegation was shown to guest quarters, while Abby went with Zelia, claiming she wanted to collect her few possessions from the princess's chambers. Instead, they slipped away through the hidden passages, making their way to the chamber beneath the Oracle where Elder Vin waited. The small room was lit by floating lights. In the center stood a pedestal with two small crystals, each no bigger than a human thumb. They pulsed with gentle light. The sharing crystals are ready, Elder Vin said. I have modified one for human biology as best I could, but the risk remains. We understand, Zelia said. She turned to Abby. Last chance to change your mind. Abby shook her head. I'm in. Very well. Elder Vin gestured for them to sit on cushions on either side of the pedestal. The process is simple but intense. Each of you will hold a crystal. They will link your minds, allowing the free flow of thoughts and memories. What one knows, the other will know. What one feels, the other will feel. Complete understanding, Zelia said. Yes. Elder Vin's voice grew serious. But there is more. If successful, the link will not end when you set down the crystals. A part of it will remain. A permanent connection between human and Vexari. This is why the Oracle showed you two specifically. Your minds must be compatible for this to work. And if they're not? Abby asked. Then both could be severely damaged. Elder Vin did not hide the truth. But the Oracle has shown this is possible. I believe you are the ones who can do this. Zelia reached across the pedestal and took Abby's hand. Together? Abby nodded. Together. They each picked up a crystal, with their free hands. The moment their skin touched the crystal surfaces, Abby felt a jolt of energy. The world around her faded. Images flooded her mind, but they weren't her memories. She saw Vex 9 through Zelia's eyes, felt the joy of running through crystal corridors as a child, the pressure of royal expectations, the loneliness of being different, of caring about other worlds when everyone else feared them, the excitement of finding human artifacts, learning their language in secret. The moment Zelia first saw Abby's crashed pod and knew somehow that everything was about to change. At the same time, Abby knew Zelia was seeing her memories, her childhood on Earth, training to become a pilot, the mix of fear and excitement when chosen for the Vex 9 mission, the crash, the surprise of waking to find herself being healed by a four-eyed alien princess. Emotions flowed between them. Understanding deepened. Abby felt as if her mind was expanding, making room for new ways of thinking. She understood the crystal towers, now, felt their slow heartbeats, their ancient wisdom. Just when she thought she couldn't take any more, the connection began to ease. The flood of memories slowed to a trickle. The room came back into focus. Elder Vin stood watching them with all four eyes wide. "It worked," she whispered. "Your minds have linked successfully." Abby set down the crystal, as did Zelia, but the connection remained. Not the overwhelming flood of memories, but a gentle awareness of each other's presence. Abby could sense Zelia's exhaustion, her relief, her hope for the future. "I can still feel you," she said, amazed. "And I you," Zelia replied. "This is what the Oracle meant by a bridge between worlds, not just you and me, but what we represent." Elder Vin helped them to their feet. "Rest now. Tomorrow you will show both delegations what is possible when human and Vexari truly understand each other." They made their way back to their quarters, the mental connection between them growing more comfortable with each passing minute. It wasn't intrusive. Abby couldn't read Zelia's every thought, but she had a constant awareness of her emotions, her general state of mind. It was like having another sense. Morning came quickly. The delegations gathered again to continue negotiations. This time Abby and Zelia sat together between the two groups. "Before we continue," the Sovereign announced, "my daughter and Lieutenant Mercer have something to share." Zelia stood, and Abby rose with her. They faced the combined delegations. "Last night," Zelia began, "we underwent a traditional Vexari ritual, the sharing of minds through crystal technology. It created a permanent link between us. I understand humans as no Vexari ever has. Abby understands the Vexari and the crystal beings we share our world with." Admiral Winters looked concerned. "Lieutenant, is this true? Was this done with your consent?" "Yes, Admiral," Abby said firmly. "It was my choice, and now I understand things I never could have otherwise." She turned to the human delegation. "The crystal towers aren't just alive. They're ancient and wise. They've guided the Vexari for thousands of years. They can help humans too if we approach with respect instead of mining equipment. The sharing we experienced can be adapted for others," Zelia added. "Not the permanent link that requires special compatibility, but temporary sharing for diplomats and scientists. True understanding is possible." As if on cue, Elder Vin entered carrying a tray with several smaller crystals. "These are communication crystals. They will allow brief mental connection, just enough to share basic concepts and emotions. I invite each delegate to try one." What followed was remarkable. One by one, humans and Vexari shared brief mental connections. Faces that had been suspicious or uncertain lit up with new understanding. The negotiations progressed rapidly after that. What might have taken months was accomplished in hours. By evening, the first treaty between humans and Vexari was ready to sign. It established peaceful relations, cultural exchange, and collaborative study of the crystal beings, with strict protections for their well-being. As the Sovereign and Admiral Winters signed the document, Abby stood with Zelia near the great window overlooking the Crystal City. Through their link, she felt Zelia's pride and hope. "What happens now?" Abby asked quietly. "Will I stay here or return to Earth?" "Both, I think," Zelia said with a small smile. "The treaty names us as the first ambassadors between our worlds. We'll divide our time between Vex 9 and Earth. Won't that be difficult for you, leaving your home?" Zelia's upper eyes blinked in amusement. "I've dreamed of seeing Earth since I found my first human book. Besides," she touched her wrist where the glowing mark matched Abby's, "with our connection, neither of us is ever truly alone, no matter where we are." Through the window, they could see human shuttles landing on newly designated